the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast and crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to PTM Racing TV for the Fast and Fun Green Mountain Grill's Truck Series. Brought to you tonight from Surprise, Chicagoland. Why do we say surprise? Well, as you recall from last week, we were scheduled to be at Watkins Glen this week. However, the new updates from iRacing, which we'll be talking about throughout the night tonight, caused some issues for the trucks at Watkins Glen. They tested over the weekend and they were doing great. Times were great. Driving was pretty smooth, and then the new update came out and the new adjustments to the tires and aero and things like that made it very, very difficult. And to make sure these guys put on a great show tonight, they decided to make a last-minute change to Chicagoland. Great choice on their part, and I do believe later in the season they'll be switching the currently scheduled Chicagoland for either Watkins Glen once everybody's had some practice there, or for Talladega, which will also be quite a show. As we watch, Eli Childs is out qualifying. They are in the last couple of minutes of qualifying here. Just want to go over a couple things for tonight. Most importantly, that these guys are out here for 110 laps. That is two stages. The first stage of 45 laps, the second stage of 65 laps. Because they've had limited practice, they're going to have an extra set of tires tonight. They're going to have a total of 5 sets for that 110 lap race. The set they start on, 4 additional sets of tires and 1 fast repair. However, want to make sure we give a huge shout out tonight. Some of the drivers in the league, obviously we've talked about it before, service members, their first responders, fire, police, all these guys who are out risking their lives day in and day out. We definitely want to thank them. One of our police officers in the league got a huge thank you from his community for the holidays today, as did the rest of his department and the area departments in his community. And want to shout out anybody who takes the time this Christmas season, especially with everything going on, to take the time to thank a first responder, a veteran, a soldier. If you have a moment, you can do something nice. Everybody's strapped right now, but if you can do something nice for these guys, please take a few moments and do so. And definitely, like I said, we want to appreciate all the veterans, all the soldiers, all the first responders out there. We thank you each and every day for everything you do. And that comes from me, from PTM, and from Green Mountain Grills and the Fast and Fun Truck Series. Now, as qualifying wraps up, we're going to go down the starting lineup as it stands right now. We will be going over the points, which had a bit of a shakeup, but for the most part, pretty standard. So qualifying tonight on the pole is Nathan Meyer. Craig Janzik, our points leader, sitting on the outside. On the second row, James Harris. He is currently still second in points. Robert Lawrence is starting fourth. Jonathan Diamond and Sheldon Pearson fill out that third row. Brian Lorenzo, Jacob Givens are on the fourth row. Caleb Forsyth and Daniel Starner round out the top 10. Stephen Pless, Eli Childs, Brandon Ball, Stephen Clegg, and John Thacker are your 10th through 15th. Then Stephen Madden, Richard Fornchell, John Fix, Brian Rowell, Russ Kilgore, Garth Snyder, Gary Lynch, Robert Wynn Jr., Robert Wynn Sr., and Kevin Kirchar, round out the field tonight. The man we're going to want to watch tonight is the 21 and the 44. That is going to be Craig Janzik and James Harris. These two are in a heated points battle right now. As we start to watch them line up, there's the 21 of Craig Janzik. on that outside front row. And as they are starting to fill out, let's talk about the points real quick. Sorry, I had to grab my notes real quick. Craig Janzik continues to lead. He has an 11-point lead over James Harris in second. Eli Childs moves up from fourth into third this week. He is just 9 points behind James Harris. Robert Wynn Sr. is in third, just a point behind Eli. We will probably see him move to the front and try and reclaim some points tonight. Robert Wynn Jr. sneaking his way up every week, moving up position. He is he's in fifth with a 2-point lead over sixth place Stephen Clegg. Jonathan Diamond in seventh. Gary Lynch, Kyle Spees, and John Thacker round out the top 10, just 7 points between the three of them. The points battle is still anybody's game. From first to 10th is only a 66-point difference, and with a 2-point for stage win and 1 point for most laps led, these guys are definitely going to be trying to close some of that gap up tonight if they can at all. As they line up and get ready to go green, definitely got to give a shout out to the man who is with us in the booth, I do believe, Matt Moniak. Are you with us tonight, sir?
I am.
Awesome. We are always glad to have the race admin with us, and quite a good figure 8 driver, I might add, as we found out earlier today.
Oh yeah, it's always a blast. I try to enjoy the smaller things in life.
And that jump definitely makes for some interesting racing when you're jumping over another car.
Oh yeah, if you guys haven't had the shot already, I would go hop in and go and enjoy that for a lap or two.
All right, that is Matt Moniak. He is the race control for this evening, as he has been every week. We really appreciate having him on board. Big help when we start getting out here and they start having some problems. I don't expect to see a lot of problem. I expect to see a lot of green flag racing tonight, which is going to benefit a guy like Robert Wynn. Robert is definitely the king of the long run, going 65-plus laps at Texas Motor Speedway for the win, and every week he seems to pull off some sort of miracle there at the end. Tire strategy, fuel strategy, whatever it may be, he gets to the front. As we watch him come around, the pace car will duck off momentarily. Nathan Meyer will lead them down. And we will be watching the 44 and the 21 closely tonight, as I mentioned. Pace car is off. Green flag is in the air for lap 1 of this 110-lap battle. Nathan Meyer drops really low. This is one of those tracks where you can go below the white line. It does kind of wear your tires out a bit more. I expect to see guys, some guys using that quite aggressively, and some guys trying to stay up there, save their tires. I would not be the least bit surprised to see Robert Wynn never go below the white line, as we see James Harris already moving to the lead. James is definitely looking to close up some of that 11-point gap, but the man in the lead currently in points is right behind him, the number 21. That is Craig Janzik. Craig is looking to extend his winning streak this week in the with these guys, same guys. He's won 3 races so far this week. He is looking to make it number 4 tonight. So we will see if he can pull that off. He was feeling pretty confident despite the limited amount of practice. They've been throwing up extra test sessions all day, but with the last minute change, this could be anybody's race. It's hard to say. Normally we would see Craig out there. He puts in 200, 250 laps a week practice just for these races. So we'll see if the limited practice helps him or hurts him any. But right now it's James Harris. He was confident about this track, and despite the changes in the tire and the aero, which we'll talk about in just a few moments, James felt pretty good about this track, and he thinks it's going to be one of his better tracks. He's hoping to use it to make up some ground. Looks like we've got one car just coming off of pit road. Let's go look. I thought that might have been the 13 of Eli Childs. but it was not. It looks like it was Stephen Pless in the number 69 back there. As we hop back up front, and while they are working on spreading the field out a little bit, as the 24 Nathan Myers trying to make a move, get back to second, possibly back to the lead. Let's talk a little about some aero changes. There was a little bit of a aerodynamic fix, if you will, put in when these trucks are up by the wall, and it's the same with a lot of these oval cars now. The car gets up there by the wall, and there is a little cushion of air in real life that comes off these cars and builds up between the car and the wall, and it's almost like having a little layer there to protect you without getting hurt, almost like an invisible safer barrier. And they have that in there now that'll allow them to run up by the wall, and if they get within that little bit of cushion as close as they can, it almost creates a side draft effect, so we will see a little bit of that. Tracks like this, Homestead, other tracks where you're running up by the wall at times, down on the apron, that little possibly 1/100th of a second can make all the difference in the world, especially when you look at the track and realize the first 10 cars are still within a second of each other after 7 laps. They are not spreading out yet. As you see them go around the track, when we come around, why don't we hop in the leader car, the number 44, and take a ride around this track, talk a little bit about Chicagoland Speedway. As James Harris comes down, crosses the start-finish line under the line, drives off into turn 1, taking that little bit lower line, comes up off of turn 2, and you'll notice a unique feature of Chicagoland is the little bit of a curve into turn 3. Turn 3 starts a little bit further back. He stays low. He's out by the wall in the back straightaway. He starts to get down low earlier than most tracks, drift up to carry momentum out to the outside wall, and then dropping back below the white line as he crosses the start-finish line. That is a lap around Chicagoland Speedway. Made that lap in 31 seconds, folks. That is 1.5 miles in 31 seconds. 18-degree turns. The front straightaway is an 11-degree banking, and the back straightaway is just 5 degrees of banking. As we watch them come around, looks like these front 3 might have sorted themselves out for a few minutes. I say that, and looks like the 24 might be looking to the outside now. Looks like they're starting to put a little bit of a gap. Just a few laps ago, the entire top 10 was within 1 second. Now 10th place, Daniel Starner is almost 2 seconds back. Once these 3 lined up, they've kind of checked out. They've got a half a second lead over Jacob Givens in the 4th position. But as long as that 21 and 44 are side by side, that's going to allow these guys back behind them to catch up. Remember, Craig Janzik is your points leader. James Harris is in 2nd. Eli Childs and Robert Wynn, they're your 3rd and 4th in points. Robert Wynn is one that's been moving up every week, as has Eli Childs. Eli is currently running in about 12th place. There's Eli in that champion truck. As he comes down around, like I said, he's about 2.5 seconds back from the leader. He's currently shown in 13th place. Probably playing it a little bit safe right now. We've seen him do that a couple times this season. Play it safe, take it a little bit careful early on. We saw it at Dover. He knew he could make it in the long run better than anybody else, and he proved it time and time and time again. He'd let them get away for 20 laps and then come back and close some incredible distances. We'll see how abrasive this track is going to be on these new tire models, and we'll see if it makes a difference and if Eli can still pull it off tonight. Robert Wynn, 4th in points, currently back, started 25th, currently running 20th. As we see the 21 looking high now, he's looking for a way around that 44. He wants to get up there and try and lead the most laps as well. Now, we will have a stage break on or about lap 45. These guys should be able to go the distance on fuel, but the tires will be the question mark for a lot of these guys. As we see the 21 already ducking down low, trying to make the move. 44, James Harris drifts up way higher than I think he intended to, but gets back down. But it is Craig Janzik at the line, takes the lead. And James is not having any of that. He is already ducking back underneath. These guys may not have any tires left at the stage break the way they are racing side by side tonight. And that is allowing the back of the pack to catch back up just a little bit, as we see Jacob Givens there has caught back up to this field in that number 20 truck. Right behind them, Brian Lorenzo currently showing in 5th place in that 73 truck. He's starting to close the gap up as well. Craig Janzik slips back to 3rd as the number 24 and the number 20 start to get by him. It's not often we see Craig going backwards at all. I would imagine this is a temporary state of affairs. After 16 laps, coming down, finishing up lap 16. Currently, James Harris is leading, Nathan Meyer second, Craig Janzik is third. Jacob Givens started 8th up to 3rd now, excuse me. The 73, Craig Janzik slips back to 4th in that 21. The 73, Brian Lorenzo is in 5th. Jonathan Diamond, Robert Lawrence, Caleb Forsyth, Sheldon Pearson, and Dan Starner, they all round out your top 10. And as we are watching, looks like things have settled down a little bit at the front. But the 24 is starting to challenge the 44 of James Harris. As they come through 1 and 2, the 24, Nathan Myers, is trying to find a way around that 44 truck, the Green Mountain Grills truck of James Harris. But it looks like James is just a bit too much. Every time he gets a little bit closer, James turns the heat up on his grill. And I know we mentioned it last week, but I spent some more time looking at the Green Mountain Grills website. Oh my goodness, look at their recipe list. I had to stop before the race so I wouldn't get hungry in the middle of the race again. They have some great recipes and some amazing grills. Some amazing technology with those grills, so definitely go check out Green Mountain Grills. Especially if you're looking to cook a turkey this season. Christmas is coming up, and they have a recipe for just about anything you could think of, and probably a few things you haven't thought of. And the 24 closes back up on the bumper of the 44 through the front straightaway. It looks like James Harris just seems to be the dominant car right now. But here is the big story. At the moment, it looks like the 21 is going backwards. It's Craig Janzik, currently running in 5th place. He didn't get his usual amount of practice in this week. Obviously, circumstances were against us. We see Jonathan Diamond trying to make a move, trying to take that 5th position. Kind of unusual to see Craig going backwards at this point in the race, but I would imagine that before this is all said and done, he'll find his way back up to the front. He's not going to lose a whole lot of points tonight, I can promise you that. As I mentioned, the race was originally supposed to be Watkins Glen. They do have the new, it's not a full tire model, but they did make some adjustments to the tires and the tire modeling for this this current release. So as we see the Jonathan Diamond truck making a pass for 5th. So a lot of these guys have only had 24, maybe 36 hours to practice on these tires, and less than 24 hours actually since the decision was made to switch to Chicagoland. And obviously right now that is affecting the number 21 of Craig Janzik. But here's another truck we want to talk about. That's that 13 champion truck. That is Eli Childs. He is currently 3rd in points. He's wanting to close that gap. He has moved back up to 11th position. You know, he has slipped back to about 14th. And I keep telling him if he'd switch to a Chevy, he'd be a lot faster. However, he seems to be moving back toward the front. Last week at Dover showed that he's shown in the past he can be aggressive and get to the front when he needs to. Last week he showed he can be patient. He saved those tires and worked his way up to the front multiple times. On the long run, he was the dominant force. So we'll see if he can do the same again. He's moved up, currently being shown in 10th and chasing down Robert Lawrence in 9th place. In fact, that last lap, James Harris was first. Eli Childs was the 2nd fastest truck on the track. Eli Childs seems to be, the last couple of weeks anyway, the king of these old tires and saving his stuff. That's usually something reserved for a guy like the number 16 of Robert Wynn. There's Robert following Robert Jr. around the track. Robert Jr., of course, in the purple Marvel truck. I do believe that was a Black Panther design on the front. And the Metallica truck of Robert Wynn Sr. And Robert Wynn Jr. currently 5th in points, right behind Dad. However, Dad has a substantial lead, a 23-point lead currently over Robert Wynn Jr. They started, Robert Wynn Sr. started in 25th, Jr. started in 24th. They are running 18th and 19th. Looks like they are working together to get up to the front. Let's hop back up and find the number 13 of Eli Childs. There he is again in the Champions truck. Currently up to 9th now, chasing down Richard Fornshell. And still the fastest truck in the top 10 currently. Fastest truck last time by was Stephen Clegg, right behind him, currently running in 10th. But here comes Eli Childs, closing in on Richard Fornshell and Dan Starner. As they come down the backstretch, I expect Eli's not going to stay back there too terribly long. And I would be remiss if I didn't go take a look at the number 56 truck of John Thacker. At the end of last week's race, John asked me, please make sure to remind me not to gamble on pit road. I promised him I'd do so. I reminded him of that today. However, it doesn't make a big difference that it would have at Watkins Glen. He did say, however, he will figure out a way to ruin his race somehow. However, we've seen John running up there. He's currently 10th in points, 11th on the track, started 15th, so he can work his way up, and he is generally one we don't talk about a lot. He just kind of sneaks his way up into the top 10 and the top 5 every single week. And the 44 of James Harris and the 24 of Nathan Meyer are starting to build a lead. They have 4 seconds on Jonathan Diamond. As we come down complete start lap 33, 4.4 seconds back is Jonathan Diamond in third place. Jacob Givens currently is in fourth. Jonathan Diamond third. Jacob Givens fourth. Craig Janzik holding steadily at fifth. Brian Lorenzo sixth. Richard Fornshell seventh. And Eli Childs now up to eighth place. We saw him making the move for ninth earlier. Looks like James Harris is trying to lock in the bonus point for most laps led as quickly as possible. And as long as that 24 truck stays right behind him, that's a definite possibility. They are sitting up here just hoping and praying that this thing stays green as we come down to start lap 35, and in about 10 laps we will have a mandatory caution for the stage break. Whichever one of them is leading at that stage break gets 2 bonus points. For John Thacker, excuse me, back there in 10th, he definitely does not want to see that 24 truck get those bonus points. Nathan Meyer is just outside of the top 10 in points currently, so he does not want to see that 24 truck get those bonus points, but the 24 has come by and taking the lead, and you got to wonder if there's some sort of deal working right there between these two trucks right now. They don't seem to be challenging each other too terribly much. The man on the move is still that number 13 champion truck. That is Eli Childs, currently in 7th. Looking to make a move on Jonathan Diamond for 6th. He dives to the inside going into turn 1, holds it down. Jonathan's trying to hold him down, but doesn't look like he's going to have anything for him. As they come out of turn 2, Eli slides up and takes the position. Moves him up to 6th, chasing down Jacob Givens, and Craig Janzik has moved back up into 4th now. Looks like Craig might have saved a little bit for later in the run. He's actually turning some of the faster laps right now. The only truck faster than him last time was Nathan Meyer, and you got to think that has to do a little bit to do with Nathan being out there at the front in the clean air. And Nathan Meyer is more or less checked out from the 44 truck of James Harris. He already saw him make the pass for the lead just a few laps ago. Already has a 1.1 second lead. Currently running about 4/10 of a lap faster than James Harris. But the fastest lap last time by should come as no surprise right there in that number 13 truck. That is Eli Childs. Running even faster than the leader. He is currently in 6th, but I don't think Jacob Givens is going to be able to hold him off for very long. And then he'll be chasing down the points leader up there in the number 21 of Craig Janzik. As we watch him come off turn 2, we're about 5 laps away from the stage break. And I can promise you, even with all the sets, the 73 gets into a little trouble there as they go into turn 3. Got a little high through the center, and that opens the door. Eli Childs drops low under the number 20. Makes the move for 5th, and looks like he's going to take 4th as well. Passes the 73, Brian Lorenzo. As they come down the backstretch, Eli slides back up there. He is going to be shown, I do believe, in 4th. and still chasing down that 21 truck of Craig Janzik, who's moved his way up to third. And either James Harris is falling back or Craig Janzik has turned the wick up, because he is only 3 seconds back now. So we can see Craig Janzik seems to have saved some tires early on. Might have waited a little bit long to crank that up a bit, but they will have the caution in about 3 laps, and that will bring the field back together again. As they come down the front stretch, you can just barely see James Harris there off in the distance. And here they come down the back straightaway. Seems like Eli Childs cannot close a lot of distance on that 21 truck. Just checking the lap times, Eli Childs is a little bit faster, but we're talking hundredths of a second. And we should be seeing the caution in the air shortly, as when the 24, there is the 24 of Nathan Myers. He'll be coming around to start lap 45 momentarily as he comes through 3 and 4. He definitely does not want a stage break, but he is going to get a couple of bonus points. He has a 3.5 second lead over the 44 of James Harris as the caution comes out. And we will wait for them to all pack back up and looks like Eli Childs did manage to make the pass, hold on to 4th position, close up on Craig Janzik there at the end of that run. We will go try and talk to him, see if he can, this next run is going to be a 65 lap run. If they stay green for the entire time, will he need another set of tires? Can he move all the way up there and challenge James Harris and Nathan Myers? That is the big question. Let these guys get caught up to the pace car. Apparently the pace car was avoiding some debris there on the entry to turn 3. Current standings, Nathan Meyer in the lead, James Harris, Craig Janzik, Eli Childs, Jacob Givens are your top 5, Brian Lorenzo, Dan Starner, Richard Fornshell, Stephen Clegg, and Jonathan Diamond round out your top 10 as they come down pit road. And we will let Eli get to his pit stall real quick. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. Hey, Eli, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Heck of a run, sir. You kind of just took it easy there at the beginning, but you were storming to the front.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys were saving some fuel up there because we were all pretty close, and I was good by about 2 laps, so I was not holding back there towards the end of it.
Well, now that you know that you can go about 45 laps, what's your strategy? Are you going to split it, the 65 laps, or wait and see if we get another caution?
I'm going to see if it stays like this, I'll probably end up splitting it. But if we get a bunch of cautions, we'll just kind of have to play it by how the cautions fall. So,
you were actually running faster than James Harris and Nathan Meyer the last few laps. You got something for them if you can get up there with them?
I think on a short run I can, maybe another long run, but I think if we got about 10, 15 laps, I think they'll be able to get me. But long run or a couple lap shootout, I think I can hang with them pretty good.
Well, awesome. Well, good luck to you. Maybe we'll see you in Winter Circle again tonight.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
All right. Good luck, man.
Thanks.
And that was Eli Childs in the number 13 truck. Looks like as they line back up after pit stops, they pretty much came out the way they were. You got Nathan Myers in first, James Harris, Craig Janzik, Eli Childs, Jacob Givens are your top 5. Brian Lorenzo, Richard Fornchill, Dan Starner, Stephen Clegg, and John Thacker round out your top 10. Sheldon Pearson, Caleb Forsyth are 11th and 12th. Robert Wynn Jr. in 13th. Robert Wynn Sr. in 14th. They have moved up steadily throughout the night, so we will see if they can. We know Senior can get up there, and we know that 45 laps, a little bit of a stretch on fuel from what Eli is saying, so we'll see if Robert Wynn Sr. has another trick up his sleeve, and if Junior will follow him around. Robert Sr. is in 14th, Stephen Madden in 15th, Brian Rowell, Russ Kilgore, Gary Lynch, Stephen Pless, and Jonathan Diamond round out your top 20. Jonathan Diamond was running up there in 5th earlier in the race. He qualified 5th, fell back, I think about 8th or 9th. Managed to work his way back up to 5th, but must have had some problems on pit road. He's all the way back to 20th. Looks like Robert Lawrence is 21st, and Garth Snyder and John Fix are 22nd and 23rd, both roughly a lap down. As we get the 1 to green, this will be, if they stay green, we will get to see some green flag pit stops. They cannot go the full 65 remaining laps on this set of on this fuel load. We know that they can all go about 45 laps. Some of them might be able to stretch it. I bet Eli could probably stretch it another lap or 2. I imagine a few of these other guys, like the Wynn family, could probably stretch it a few more laps as well. And we'll see how many of these guys, like Eli said, some of these guys are playing it safe. We'll see how many of them throw safety out the window. They can go 32, 33 laps, pit, and go for a win. So who knows what kind of strategy is about to play out here, folks. As we come around, we are about to see the pace car duck off. Looks like they did get the debris picked out of turn 3 that the pace car saw earlier. Pace car is off. Nathan Myers and James Harris lead them down. Nathan drops low below the white line and gets a restart. And here comes the 21. Craig Janzik moving already up into second. Slides up in front of James Harris. James Harris is already starting to look low. Thinks a little better of it. Gives it a little bit of time to get him back up to speed. And the 21 is making a move for the lead. That is Craig Janzik in the 21. He is underneath the 24. The 44 is going to follow him through. That is James Harris. Those are your 2 points leaders. Caution is out. Let's see if we can find the incident that brought the caution out. Here we are looking on the back straightaway. Looks like Robert Wynn just barely missed all of that. Looks like somebody got up into the wall. Everybody went low, and looks like the 34 of Robert Lawrence, trying to avoid the wreck, just got turned around. Got to give a lot of credit to Robert Lawrence. That was a heck of a save. Did not really impact anybody else and managed to keep himself. Does have some damage, but definitely did a heck of a job saving. And as we see a couple of trucks coming down pit road, looks like that was the 76 of Caleb Forsyth that was involved in that. He was up in the wall. Looked like he had a little bit of trouble coming out of turn 2. And as the caution came out, just before it happened, that 21 truck had managed to get up to come up from 3rd on the restart to 1st already, as we see a truck getting his lap back. James Harris has led over 30 laps at this point. Can Craig Janzik get up there and lead a little bit more? About 58 laps left in the race. If he can lead 35, 40 of those, he will take those points away. The stage points went to the number 24. Excuse me, the 24 of Nathan Myers. Just taking a quick look at the point standings. I know Nathan was just outside of the top 10. Let's see here. Nathan Meyer was actually a little bit further back, but those 2 points will definitely benefit him tonight. He can jump up several spots with a good finish tonight. And with those extra bonus points, and more importantly, those 2 bonus points didn't go to James Harris's. Very happy to see those 2 bonus points didn't go to Craig Janzik. As we mentioned at the beginning of the race, currently after last week at Dover, Craig Janzik jumped out to a 11-point lead over James Harris. James has a 9-point lead over Eli Childs, but only 1 point separates Eli Childs and Robert Wynn, and then it's a 23-point gap from 4th place Robert Wynn Sr. to 5th place Robert Wynn Jr. But from 5th back to 10th is just 22-point difference. So Robert Wynn Jr., Stephen Clegg, Jonathan Diamond, Gary Lynch, Kyle Spees, and John Thacker can all benefit tonight with a good finish. Just taking a look through the field after the pit stops and the caution, Robert Wynn Jr. has managed to move up into 12th. Robert Wynn Sr. is currently in 14th. Gary Lynch is back in 20th. He's currently 8th in points. Kyle Spees, not seeing him on track tonight. And John Thacker is currently running in 11th. A lot of different places for a lot of these points leaders right now. Looks like the 21's chosen to take the restart on the outside. Craig Janzik has that option, so he's going to lead them down from the outside. Interesting strategy. It does make it a little bit easier for James Harris to see him on the restart. Makes it a little harder for that 21 to get a good jump on it, but every time he starts on the outside, Craig Janzik seems to be a force to be reckoned with, so we will see how it goes. See if he can carry some momentum down as they tighten up, and the green flag drops. Craig Janzik does get about a car length ahead on this restart. The 44, James Harris, is going to try and catch back up, and it looks like the 24, Nathan Myers, is giving him a little bit of a push around through the corner. And the 13 of Eli Childs currently back there in 5th place, but not for long. Looks like they were dicing it up back there a little bit, but Eli is not letting anybody get past him as they drop below that white line. And he is closing the gap on 4th place, Richard Fornshell. But it is still Craig Janzik leading the pack, but James Harris is already looking to the inside to take the lead back. I would imagine Craig Janzik is not going to let it go without a fight, as they both drop down below the white line, trying to pick up some momentum and some distance on the other. Craig Janzik gets one heck of a run into turn 1. Coming off turn 2, it is Craig Janzik in the lead, but it won't matter who's leading on the back straight away. It's that start-finish line and that leading that lap that's going to be important here. Craig Janzik trying to give the 44 a little room and still keep him pinned down just a little bit. At the line is Craig Janzik. And almost had a little bit of a bump there. 9 races left to go in the season. This points battle is heating up. Oh, the 44 and the 21 get together. Your points leaders spin. They are on the inside. 44 James Harris manages to keep it off the wall, but the 21 looked like he took a bit of an impact. Caution is out as the 21 comes back on track. Something tells me neither one of those drivers really want to talk to anybody right now. Brian Lorenzo sitting up there in 5th in that 73 truck. Let's see if we can give Brian a quick shout. See how he's feeling about his truck. Well, we'll wait and see if he decides to come down pit road. Don't want to interrupt until he gets down to his pit stall. And when the 73 hits his pit stall, we will start to bother him. Let his crew chief count him down. As we see most of the field, the Brian Lorenzo is the first one on pit road from that lead pack. Hey Brian, this is Doug up in the booth. You got me?
There's no way I fucked that up.
Oh. Apparently we timed that very badly. Apologies, problems on pit road. Sounds like Brian Lorenzo might have had some problems on pit road. There's your current leader. That is the 24 of Nathan Meyer. Sometimes it is a little bit tricky to pull this off, but let's see if we can talk to the leader real quick. Hey Nathan, this is Doug up in the booth. You got me?
I got you now. I was on mute.
Oh, okay. Well, you have been playing with James Harris up there, but after a long run, you just kind of walked away from him. You got something for him here at the end?
Yeah, I mean, he's in the back now. They just crashed, but yeah, I was saving my tires behind him. I could have passed him earlier, but wanted to save the fuel and save the tires. Ended up with 3% better. So.
Well, that's awesome. Now Eli's been he's now up there in second after that little incident, and he's been saving a little bit too on that first run. You guys are going to have quite a battle here in a few minutes.
Yeah, he's going for three in a row, so I can't let that happen.
Definitely not. Definitely not. All right, man. Well, good luck to you. Good to see somebody running that 24 car, and hope to talk to you in Victory Circle afterwards.
Thanks, man.
Make sure we put Nathan back. Yes, we did. All righty. That was Nathan Meyer. He definitely had a very strong truck. And now we see a bunch of these guys. The front 7 cars did not pit. So Nathan Meyer, Eli Childs, Richard Fornshell, Stephen Clegg, Steve Madden, Russ Kilgore, and Jonathan Diamond have been out for 15 laps. Stephen Pless pitted 10 laps ago. Everybody else behind them just now pitted. James Harris, the 44 truck, was involved in that accident. He's currently in 9th. And let's see if we can find the 21 of Craig Janzik, currently back in 22nd. And the father and son team, Robert Wynn Sr. and Jr., look like they are 22nd and 23rd. As we get the 1 to green, they're going to come around, and now comes a battle. As you heard, Eli Childs has won the last couple of races. He's going for 3 in a row tonight. we'll see if he can pull it off again. Seems like these tracks from 1 to 1.5 miles seem to favor Eli, but that 24, he was awfully strong early on. Like you heard him said, he was taking it easy the first half of that first run. Just sat behind James for 35 laps, saved fuel, saved tires. Now they've got 50 to go. They know they have to stop at least one more time. We will see if he can do anything with him. Or if Eli is going to take that forward and crank it up and get out of there. But it is the 24. Gets a good jump. Very good jump going down into turn 1. Eli Childs still hanging there on the outside. Looks like Richard Fornshell in the 90 got around and moved up into second place. At least for the moment, but there is Eli Childs right behind him. In that number 13, the 22 of Stephen Clegg. Russ Kilgore in the 28 car in 5th. Looks like Eli's just going to follow the 90, help get a little drafting help and get right up there to him. Just taking a quick look back to see where our points leader, Craig Janzik, is currently showing in 17th. James Harris has moved up to 7th. I'm guessing there will be a heated discussion between those two post-race, but these guys are all great friends and very aggressive on the track, but very calm and patient with each other. It's been great to hang out with them, to talk to them day in and day out, to watch them interact, and I've even went to a few of their practices, and these guys are probably one of the funniest groups out there. And the 13 moves up into second and already looking under the 24 for first. Now, Nathan Myers might let him by easy. We know Nathan was sitting back there on that first run, saving tires, saving fuel, 45 laps to go. The front 7-8 cars cannot go the distance. However, if we see another caution anytime from here on out, they can go the distance. So it's going to become a matter of strategy now. How hard do they push? And while these guys duke it out for the lead, let's go find the 44 James Harris Green Mountain Grills truck. Currently all the way back up to 5th. He's recovered quite well. He did not hit the inside wall on that in that accident. The 21 of Craig Janzik, however, did. He is currently running way back in 18th place. There's Craig in that 21 truck. Right behind a mess of trucks. Looks like Craig might be holding back just a little bit. He used his fast repair. That truck is almost good as new. Now it might have a little damage on the left front. A little hard to tell. Nope, that truck is clean on the left front. Looks like he is good to go. He might just be holding back, trying to stretch this thing out. He did pit 10 laps ago. 52 laps might be a bit of a stretch, but if anybody can do it, it's going to be Craig Janzik and the Wynn family. And the Wynn family seems to be hanging back there in the zone of safety together. Looks like Dad, Robert Wynn, in that Metallica truck is leading the son, Robert Wynn Jr., in that Marvel truck. "41 laps to go." They're going to be coming to 40 laps to go momentarily. Looks like the 24 Nathan Myers moved back up into the lead, and the 28 Russ Kilgore Haven't seen him up front in a couple of races, but early in the season he was definitely a force to be reckoned with. This could be the turnaround race for that 28 truck. As Russ Kilgore is diving underneath the 24, trying to make a move for the lead. And lo and behold, look who is right behind that 28 truck, coming straight up the middle. Don't make it 3 wide. It's a little early for that, James. That is James Harrison, the number 44, trying to get back to the lead. And you know Craig Janzik's got to be watching the scoring closely. He does not want that truck getting in the lead, getting any more points. He needs something to happen to let him close that gap up. As we see the 24 getting a massive dive in front of the 13, trying to hold on to that top 3 position. But about every corner we're seeing the top 3 or 4 places switch hands. I'd imagine though that 44 is now up there at the front. Don't know how many of these trucks have something. We know the 24 does. He'll sit back there and just play with James for a while, but that 13 has been a fast truck all night. Definitely knows how to save his stuff. As the 28 gets hung up to the outside. And there comes the 90 of Richard Fornshell. And folks, they are changing positions so often the computer can't even keep up with the scoring. That the 44 is now in the lead. And the 24 knows he has to split the distance on this. He's got to pit one more time. He's probably not going to be as easy on James this time around. He is not. He is already starting to look to the outside, and Eli Childs is there to give him a little bit of help. Can't get enough going just yet, but James definitely knows he's there, but now the 24 has to contend with another problem. That number 13 of Eli Childs dives underneath, going into turn 3. He is making a move for second. And that is something James Harris did not want to see in his mirror. And the entire top 5, except for the leader, shuffled positions yet again on that lap. As the number 13 lead change. Number 13, Eli Childs, going for the lead, coming out of turn 2, going down the back straightaway. Got no drafting help down there. But he has the preferred line going into 3 and 4. James Harris is stuck out on the outside line. And Eli Childs to the lead. 35 laps to go. James Harris already starting to look for a way back by on the outside. Nothing doing right now. As they come out of turn 2, let's take a look. The last lap, Eli was 0.2 of a second faster than James. Eli was at least 0.1 of a second faster than everybody in the top 10 on the last lap. The 21 of Craig Janzik has fallen back to 23rd spot. He is our points leader coming into tonight. He's got to be hoping for a caution and some way to work his way back up to the front. We've only had one day on this tire update, so there's no way of telling. The version 7 that we've had over the last season, it has not been good for trying a right side tire only change or 2 tire stops or anything like that. You have to get 4 fresh tires, but I have to think that some of these guys in the back, somebody like Craig Janzik, somebody that knows how to save his stuff for a long period of time, might actually try a 2 tire stop when they finally go into pit road. As they come out of turn 4, Eli is starting to build up a little bit of a lead on the 44. At least through the corners, he seems to pull away just a little bit. He is still a tenth to a tenth and a half faster a lap every single lap. Even with the draft, James Harris is going to have a difficult time trying to keep up, and that 24 of Nathan Meyer is still lurking right behind him in third place. But these front three seem to have started a little bit of a breakaway. Sheldon Pearson is in fourth. He is almost a second behind the leader now. As they come down the back stretch, it looks like Eli's going to start to pull away a little bit. We will see when he gets down to turn one if he can maintain that gap and start to pull away even more. This has been where James Harris has managed to catch up through this front straightaway, but Eli Childs manages to maintain the lead. James definitely sent it down into turn one, and it's suffering just a little bit for it. He drifted up by the wall. And the 24 is trying to capitalize on that move. There is the 24, Nathan Myers. Talked to him earlier. He said he definitely has something for the 44. He knows he can beat that 44. The question is going to become, can he do anything with that 13 truck? Just taking a quick look at the schedule next week there at Kansas, another track like this. Then Kentucky. The week after was scheduled to be Chicago, but I would imagine they're going to change it and not go there twice in a month. Phoenix, Michigan, Pocono, Atlanta, Iowa, and Vegas. Chicago might actually be switched back to Watkins Glen, is what James was talking about earlier today, or Talladega. It is hard to say what they're going to do, but they made the smart move at the last minute to not try and go to the Glen, not having enough practice on the tire updates. And in the lap that it took to look at the schedule, Eli Childs has opened up a bigger lead. Nathan Myers looks like he might be settling in. He knows he can get by he can get by James Harris at any point in time, but he can't let Eli get too far away from him. And you got to wonder if Sheldon Pearson has closed that gap. In fact, the last few laps, it looks like Sheldon has been faster than all three of the trucks in front of him. As you see the 24 staying up high, trying to save a little bit of tire, dropping down and jumping back above that white line. The change in banking, it does wear the tires a little bit quicker. As the 24 starting to look to the outside of James Harris, coming down the back straightaway. Backs out of it just a little bit. And with 25 laps to go, they will have to make at least one more pit stop. At least these front few guys. James Harris might actually be, if he's very, very careful, which it doesn't look like he is being very saving at this point in time. I don't know that he can make it from here, but I know Eli and Nathan cannot make it from here, nor can Richard Fornshell and Russ Kilgore, Stephen Clegg. They've all been out there for about 41 laps, so you're going to start seeing some pit stops from some of these guys. They went 45 laps on a tank of fuel the first time by, and Eli Childs said he could easily make it another 2 laps, probably 3. So we might see him go about 48 laps on a run. That's going to put him pitting with about 17 to go. That's going to be cutting it awfully, awfully close to the end of the race. If there's any problems, it'd put him way back. So I would imagine if he's going to make a stop, not wait for the caution anymore, we'll probably see it in the next 2 to 3 laps. And he continues to open up the gap. Nathan Myers moved up into second, got around James Harris. We'll see if Nathan Myers can close up on Eli Childs in that number 24 truck. As they come to pit road, the lead the front three are on pit road. The 13, the 24, the 44, all on pit road. Sheldon Pearson, Brian Lorenzo, Jacob Givens, Stephen Clegg, Russ Kilgore, all on pit road now. Richard Fornshell in the 90 assumes the lead. Dan Starner is currently showing in second. Caleb Forsyth, John Thacker moves up into the fourth position. Stephen Pless in fifth. And no shocker here, in the sixth position, Robert Wynn Sr. If anybody can go the remainder of the race, he's been out there for 30 laps, 20 laps to go. He would be the one to go the distance on the fuel that he has. The question is, how much time would he lose? We saw it at Texas. He managed to work it out and make it last, and his son is just a couple spots back there from him as these lead lap cars are coming out. The leader cars. Robert Wynn currently shown in sixth. Robert Wynn Jr. in seventh, and here comes James Harris. Looks like in that exchange, Craig Janzik came down pit road as well, currently being points leader, currently being shown in 23rd. Richard Fornshell is still out there in the lead, but he's been out there for 46 laps, 47 now. He will be going to pit road anytime, I would imagine. We'll watch and see if the 90 comes, and we'll see if Robert Wynn Sr. and Jr. can play it out, can outlast everybody else. The number 90 is staying out, 47 laps, coming to 48 laps on this tank of fuel. With 17 to go, that might be too much of a stretch for him. But the cars behind him in the top 7, everybody else has been out for 35 to 33 laps. He's been out there for 48. Stephen Pless, currently shown in fourth, has been out there for 42 laps. And Caleb Forsyth was showing in second. He is on pit road. That moves Dan Starner up into second. Robert Wynn Sr. and Jr. have moved up into currently showing in fifth and sixth. And they do have to contend with all these car guys that are out here on fresh tires. To give you an idea of the difference in speed, currently is just under 2 seconds a lap. But at 30 seconds a lap, 31 seconds a lap, it will be close to, if he can make it on fuel, it's going to be close on fuel, and it's going to be close on if they can get their lap back and catch back up to the Robert Wynn. We saw this play out at Texas just a few weeks ago. We'll see if we talk to Robert Wynn after this one and see if he is still the king of fuel and tire strategy. Looks like Richard Fornshell is now on pit road. Stephen Pless is now on pit road. Dan Starner assumes the lead. John Thacker, that moves Robert Wynn up into third. Robert Wynn Jr. is in fourth. Eli Childs, who was leading just a few laps ago, is currently showing in seventh, almost a full lap down. And there is currently the leader, Dan Starner, in the 35, being followed by John Thacker. Both of these guys might be able to go the distance. It will be very, very close. Dan Starner drops to the inside. Looks like John Thacker is going to make him. Sorry, that is the guys on fresh tires. There is John Thacker, my mistake. Currently shown in second. And just a little bit back from these two guys, Robert Wynn Sr., and just a little ways back from him, Robert Wynn Jr. Father and son team started 24th and 25th, currently running 3rd and 4th, and possibly the only two that can go the distance on the fuel they have. They've been out there for 38 laps. They've got 12 laps to go. But currently it is Dan Starner still out there in the lead. He's been out there for 41 laps. We know he can go quite a bit further. He can go at least 6 or 7 more laps. Don't know if he can make it a full 11 though. And Eli Childs has moved up into the 5th position. Currently just 20 seconds back from the leader and 15 seconds back from Robert Wynn Jr. and about 17 seconds back from Robert Wynn Sr. And currently a second and a half a lap faster. As you see some of these guys with fresh tires coming by, you know that 35 truck has got to be taking advantage of any drafting help he can get. As these fresh tire guys are coming by on the outside, he's going to try and take any advantage to save even an ounce of fuel at this point. They have rolled the dice with 9 laps to go. They pretty much got what they got at this point. There is the 89 truck. That is Robert Wynn Jr. He is just a couple of seconds back from his dad, Robert Wynn Sr. But 10 seconds back from him is Eli Childs, James Harris, Nathan Myers, Brian Lorenzo, and Sheldon Pearson. Those were the top 5 guys before they went into pit road, and they are currently charging back towards the front. As they come around, they've got about a 9-second difference. There they are. James Harris and Eli Childs closing up. Sorry, that is the 69 and the same color side by side that we usually see with James Harris and Eli Childs when they are coming around the track. They are always fairly close to each other. There are the gentlemen that pitted just 15 laps ago, 7 laps to go. Can they close that 12-second gap? Those new tires are starting to wear in just a little bit, and these lap times are coming down, but those lead trucks, they're not coming down quite as much. There is only about a 1-second gap in speed with 6 laps left to go. Will they be able to make up a 12-second deficit? There's the 35 of John Thacker. He has been out there. I'm sorry, the 35 of Dan Starner. He's been out there for 47 laps now. I will learn to read numbers eventually. He's been out there for 47 laps, as has John Thacker, who just moved into the lead. They've both been out for 47. The Wynn family behind him. Looks like the 56 might be out of fuel. He had to drop way low, way early. It looked like he might have ran out of fuel, and Dan Starner is going to assume the lead. Now we'll see how far he can go on the fuel he has, and here comes Robert Wynn Sr. right behind him. Remember, Robert Wynn Sr., Robert Wynn Jr., they have 2 laps more fuel than Dan Starner does. And we might be about to see this race settled right here, as the number 16 is looking to get past the number 35 as they come down. Eli Childs has just moved into third, but he is 6 seconds back with 3 laps to go. I don't think he can make it. It's going to become a question of fuel mileage for these two guys. Excuse me. Get a little exciting. Here's the 16 moves to the outside. He is going to come down and take the 2 laps to go. He is going to have a 4-second lead, 4.5-second lead on Eli Childs when he crosses the start-finish line. 2 to go. It's Robert Wynn Sr. in the lead. Dan Starner right behind him. Eli Childs, Nathan Myers, James Harris, Brian Lorenzo. They are all charging forward, but they have a bit of a gap to close. 3.5 seconds. And we know that 16 truck can, if anybody can make it to the end on the fuel he has, it's that 16 truck. And these guys that are coming by on fresh tires, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, he's going to take any draft he can get, save any fuel he can. 1 lap to go. White flag is out. Dan Starner is on pit road. Nathan Meyer assumes second place. Robert Wynn has just over a second. Robert Wynn is out of gas coming down the back straightaway. Nathan Meyer in the 24 assumes the lead. Eli Childs is back there in second. James Harris is currently showing in third. Craig Janzik currently running 13, but it's a 24 truck. Nathan Meyer, who pulls the win off when the 16 runs out of fuel on the last lap. Eli Childs cannot three-peat tonight. He finishes second. James Harris is in third. Brian Lorenzo fourth. Sheldon Pearson fifth. Russ Kilgore, Jonathan Diamond, Stephen Clegg, Richard Fornshell, and Garth Snyder round out your top 10. Craig Janzik comes home 11th tonight. That is going to shake up the points just a bit, but for tonight, it is Nathan Myers pulling the win. And we are going to see if we can talk to our winner. There's Nathan. Hey Nathan, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Well, were you expecting Robert Wynn to run out of fuel on the last lap?
No, man, that was close. I thought he was going to make it. All I knew is I had to get around Eli right there. That's all I knew.
That was a heck of a finish, and we knew you and Eli were going to be close, but you managed to pull off getting around him there at the end, and miracle win tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun out here.
You definitely had one of the dominant trucks. It was either going to be you or Eli tonight. You two had the dominant trucks, and yours was just a little bit better.
Yeah, I kind of got lucky with Craig getting taken out there. Took one of the competitors out. But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. And thanks for you for doing this, and thanks for Green Mountain Grills for the sponsor.
Hey, and make sure when you go talk to Eli after the race, make sure to tell him if he was driving a Chevy, he probably would have beat you.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to tell him.
Well, congratulations, man. Go celebrate with everybody else, and great win tonight.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was one very happy Nathan Meyer tonight. He definitely deserves it. He earned the celebration he's having right now in that number 24 truck. That was the Green Mountain Grills Fast and Fun Truck League here at Chicagoland. What an exciting race, and a heck of a last lap there. You had quite a bit of a battle between the points leaders, and I'd imagine when we come back next week, we're going to have a bit of a shakeup in the point standings. So we'll definitely be looking at that come next Thursday. And from everybody at Green Mountain Grills, don't forget to go check out their website. If you need a grill to cook your Christmas dinner, definitely go check those guys out. And they have some great recipes and can tell you how to cook your Christmas dinner, and they are great. And And from the Fast and Fun Truck guys, got to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It has been a great and exciting race. A lot of green flag racing. These guys put on one heck of a show tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a wonderful